Hey, everybody, welcome back to Deck 10. It's me, Matt. And that Matt. Lieutenant Commander Matt, reporting for duty. Well, that one is, hey, how's it going, man? You doing good? You happy?
Yeah.
Yes, good. Excellent. I'm happy. I'm happy to be here again. But this time, things are a little bit different. This time, everybody's watching us on the view screen at the Enterprise D. I mean, you can't see it because you're on the other side of the view screen. But I can see it, and the people who are watching can see it, and it's slick.
Okay.
Okay. You got it? You're with me, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Well, the turbolift doors have opened. We're walking out onto the hallways of whatever ship we're on today. I don't know. Last time we were on the Titan. Today we're on the Enterprise. I don't know. I've got a couple of these, actually, a couple of these view screen things that I found on the internet. So maybe one day we can be on the Defiant.
Oh.
I think that would be fun. Hey, did you know? I'm sure you knew this, all right? Because you're just a walking fact encyclopedia of Star Trek. And I know it because we've been talking for about an hour before even push. Okay, maybe half an hour before pushing the button. And my God, you know so much, and I'm so impressed, and it's amazing. And I look forward to everybody learning, just like I did, about your Star Trek expertise, which I'm sure includes this. Anytime they had to cloak the Defiant, somebody had to go in and change manually all the light bulbs.
Oh wait. Back up. What?
So when they originally designed the set for the Defiant, I'm sure they changed it by the time we got into a point where they like started to dim. But when it was first built, they didn't put a dimmer on the lights for the Defiant. So when they went to cloak for those first couple of episodes, they had to stop, and production had to go in and put new light bulbs in, and then start going again when everything dimmed down. Hey,
Uh,
hardcore Star Trek trivia coming to you right here on Deck 10, everybody.
I had never heard that. And I don't doubt it.
I read it on Memory Alpha, I think. They have all kinds of
Well, if it's
production
on
notes for
memory,
Deep Space Nine.
now we know if it's on memory alpha, it's 99% true.
It has to be, right? I mean, I
If
trust
it's
it.
on memory beta, it
Well, that's the book stuff, though, right?
no no. Well, memory beta is the includes fan canon
Oh, gotcha,
stuff,
gotcha.
whereas
Well,
memory alpha
fan
is like
cannon. Well, that's an oxymoron.
Memory Alpha has been it's been produced, it's been published,
Yeah.
either in print or in video,
Okay. Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. It's hardcore curated. So I mean, I learned that because all the Deep Space Nine stuff on Memory Alpha has just production notes up the wazoo. Because Ronald D. Moore just loved to talk about making the show, and so there's a lot of stuff out there about the making of Deep Space Nine, including that. And on my last Deep Space Nine full rewatch, I went episode by episode every single time it transitioned to the next one, and I went and I read every single script note and production note and all of that's included in all of the articles for the episodes, and just had a great old nerdy how did they put together this showtime.
I honestly that was an aspect I didn't ever think to focus on.
Well, hey, I loved for me, but I mean, for anybody that watches the 10th Floor, which is the soap opera podcast that I do with my mom every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. When it comes to it, I'm really interested in TV production, how it's put together, all
Yes.
the amount of work that gets put into
Yes.
it. Because, we see the end result and we see the actors, but we don't see the hundreds and hundreds of people that worked on putting this in front of us. And so I love to just learn how it's all put together, and
Oh
I
yeah.
like to I mean, I don't know. I'm not super into the like into the super details of it. I don't know who the costume designer is. I don't know what inspired them or anything like that, but just learning little things like the complications, the troubles, what it's like in the writing room, how they put together an episode and structure it, when it's time for a bottle episode, how to split it into two parts, what actually happens when we're like, okay, well, here's the story, but here's the rewrite, and here's the rewrite, but then Renee didn't like it, so now it's a whole different thing.
I'm all about the technical stuff.
Yeah,
One of the in high school, did I did stage crew for a couple of years,
yeah,
and about a year and a half ish or whatever in community college. But yeah, I love the whole behind the scenes stuff that makes the stuff on the stage happen,
yeah.
and um, the Whoa, oh shoot! I just totally forgot what I was going to say. Um, we were leading into this with the whole.
Behind the scenes, all kinds of stuff that goes into it.
Oh,
Hundreds of people that work on it.
one of the first times that I ever actually got out to California,
Mm-hmm.
and my husband and I went to go see. Um, you can hate or like this, whatever. That's not the point. We went to go see Bill Maher at CBS Studios, and you can love him, you can hate him. That's fine. That's fine. All opinions are valid.
Forgotten by the
Um,
24th century.
but the funny thing was is that we're sitting there in the Price is Right studio, which
Okay.
also I think previously was used by Carol Burnett.
Oh yeah,
I
I
may
think
be
so.
wrong
I
on
think that
that.
makes. Yeah, I've heard that.
But anyway, we're sitting there about to watch a show go live, and I'm looking at the ceiling. I'm looking at the light rigs. I'm looking at the trims on either side of the stage.
Uh huh.
I am fascinated by all the technical stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's an actor on stage, or oh yeah,
Oh.
whatever. Oh look there,
Oh
how
wow.
they connect those things.
They got 600 lights up there. You would never think
Yeah.
it.
So yeah, I really do appreciate um,
Yeah.
the technical
Every once in a while,
side of
though, it's
what goes into
pervasive
making
though.
these
Every once in
shows.
a while, because you're watching this thing and you can't and every it's tough because you can't not imagine every once in a while somebody standing on the other side of the walls of the set with the ropes and the pulley opening the door. And then to be an actor also to have to crawl into the mindset of Commander William Riker or something like that, first officer of the Enterprise in the 24th century, to have to go from like behind the set wall, which is all plywood and undone, through the doors into the transporter room or into the bridge, and then just be this person. That's some real talent, man. That's some real talent. It is. It is. You're sitting there, you're arguing with me, and I need you to stop. Anyway, folks, we're here. We're here talking about Star Trek again because I want to do it. I had some time today. He's got some time today, so we're gonna do it a little bit more. Plus, we got the Picard season 3 happening. So we're gonna have all kinds of fun reactions and details on that next week once the second episode is over. So we have a full picture of what it is we're even talking about. Except for you, sir. Except for you, because you've been so excited. You have some things that you just cannot wait to get off of your chest, and we're gonna give it
I
to you right now.
Oh, I appreciate that
The
because
floor is
I
yours.
have opinions, and it's important for the world to know.
It really is. Really. I mean, why else are we doing this if it's not to inform the world of what you think?
So, oh my gosh, so I went through the I went through my first watch, and of course, just loving it all. And
Yes.
then, of course, the second watch was watch, pause, type it out.
Yeah.
Watch, pause, type it out.
Details.
Um, but I'm glad I did the second watch because there were really a lot of things I missed,
Uh huh.
and one of some of them being at the very opening credits. We have quote in the 25th century. Uh,
What a
I
throwback.
totally missed the connection of
Really?
that being inspired from the Wrath of Khan
That's the very
in the
first thing I
23rd
thought
century.
of.
And it's just like I totally missed it. And it's like while um, I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend anybody. Wrath of Khan is not my number one,
Don't
but
apologize. All right. You like what you like. They
but
like what they like.
I acknowledge how awesome of a film that was. Um, but anyway, I just I there and as I went through, there were so many references back to the 23rd century
Hmm.
and Wrath of Khan that I'm surprised I wasn't black and blue by the end of the first episode.
They just hitting
Um,
you with it.
and I'm fine. I'm fine with it. Um, but another thing I noticed was they're going through the ship that Beverly's on, and we'll get to that in a moment. Um, but one of the things they showed were some orchids,
Hmm.
and one of the things I've picked up, having tried to not kill an orchid in
Yeah.
my personal life, I'm one for two. There were no aerial roots on the orchid that they showed,
Oh.
so that kind of spoiled it a little bit for me, just because that means that they're using a prop plant and not a real plant.
Right.
But anyway, but I liked the throwback back to it was Next Generation Cause and Effect,
Hmm.
where the ship kept blowing up,
Yeah.
um, and we see a scene of Beverly trimming
Trimming some
or
orchids.
pruning some orchids. So
Oh,
I thought
yeah,
that
that's
was really cool.
awesome.
Um, they then I didn't realize it at the time because I was so focused on the trailers that we were getting. They showed drama masks in the ship,
Yes.
and I want to say that that was one acknowledgement of Gates's stage work and her troupe that she's had
Uh-huh.
out in LA. But I want to also say I think it was a kind of like a reference to the Dancing Doctor.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
I loved that little bit once I saw it a second time. What threw me the first time and a little bit after that was Beverly's ship, which
Hmm.
was clearly Federation design,
Yeah.
but not a Starfleet ship. And we've never really addressed that before, at least not as part of a main story arc.
Right.
And when she kept saying Ilios, I was like, who's she talking to? I
She
didn't
named
realize
the
that was the
computer?
name of the ship. So, um, I also noticed the jacket that Beverly was wearing is very 23rd century.
Okay.
Just with the I don't know how you want to call the
With
collar.
the big, like the fluff collar, with the
Yes,
kind of like
yes,
the
yes,
Carol
yes.
Marcus jacket.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
thank you. Yes. So I thought that was awesome. Um, then we skip ahead to I'm guessing we were at the Picard uh,
Chateau.
what you would call it home,
Chateau
and
Picard.
they had the Enterprise D portrait up.
Yes.
I did want to just make a specific reference to the original artists
Okay.
being Rick Sternbach and Andrew Probert.
Hmm.
I'm sorry, which I don't remember which one of them did the Starfield, one of them did
Uh-huh.
the ship.
Okay.
Um, but if you look online hard enough, you might be able to get an original print of that
Wow.
for.
I didn't know that wasn't made specifically just for the show. Wow. Okay.
No, no, there are
Oh,
still some originals floating around, and if you've
it's
got
a
enough
gorgeous
platinum,
painting.
you can obtain it. So when um, Laris was talking to Picard about all his, memories in the past and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and they showed the Gold Enterprise model, which immediately made me think of First Contact and Alfred. It's like, oh, you
You
broke your
broke your
little
little
ships.
ships.
Yes. So it was nice to see the Enterprise D intact. Um, One of the things that bothered me was that I couldn't find a reference to why Picard would have gained a Bajoran award.
Hmm.
Um, clearly there was an award on the desk with that was Bajoran, but that was one of the things that bothered me, and I'm hoping someone will let me know, unless maybe it's a book thing.
It might be a book
Um,
thing. Oh, gosh, is it? Well, maybe it's something we're going to learn about. You know?
Maybe, yeah, maybe.
Oh, little subtle
Um,
reference to things coming.
yes, the Ressican flute.
So, oh,
Ah,
big debate on this flute, sir. Big debate.
um,
Is it just a Ressican? Is it the Ressican flute? Ah, jury's out.
I just loved the reference to it because one, I really liked the episode "The Inner Light,"
Hmm.
um, and then how they followed up with it with lessons
Hmm.
uh, later on in the series. Um, so it was kind of like we know you guys loved that, and we appreciate it. So here it is. It really seemed like a big fan appreciation thing. Um, Another item was the introduction of the Kurla Naskos, sorry, Neskos. Am I saying that right? All the voices within
Hmm.
the ceramic uh,
Oh yeah,
piece.
yeah. I thought that thing went down with the Enterprise D.
It, well, no, he dug it
He
out.
did dug it out. He
It
did.
survived the crash. Um, but that was yes, that was again a callback to the chase,
Yeah.
and again, I think one of the best written episodes for next gen. It was hang on, it was really blunt over the head, but at the same time, it's like pointing out to people, it's like you're working really hard to be to not see our similarities. So anyway, again, the chase was
Yeah,
one of my
I mean,
favorites.
a great message in the chase, 100%. I can't argue with the message in the chase. The only thing that I can argue with on the chase is the fact that we have established in Star Trek lore the creation of the universe. And I just think all franchises should avoid that. It's just a me
Yeah.
thing, though. Like when we went like over in the MCU, I know this isn't Star Trek, but over in the MCU, they've recently introduced those space things, the big giant space guys. What are they? I don't know what they're called. Like Galactus was one of them.
Oh. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Celestials
Okay.
or something. The Celestials, right? And
Yeah.
they create
Okay.
the universe and they come out of the planets and all that kind of stuff. And I'm sitting there going, just not here for for how the universe came to be in my franchises. I don't know why I don't like it. Maybe it's just because I don't know how the universe came to be and I don't want somebody else to come up with it. I want to figure it
Okay.
out. I want to
Okay.
figure it out. I'm going to figure out how the universe came to be, sir. By the time this podcast is over, I'm going to tell you.
Let's see what else. There was the line where Picard says, "I'm not a man who needs a legacy," and before getting to the end of the episode, my initial reaction was like, what about Renee?" And when I say Renee, I mean the young boy
Yes.
who was his nephew.
Yes.
Um, because there was so much emphasis in Generations on the emotional impact of, sorry, spoiler alert, from how
For a
many years ago.
20-year-old movie.
Yeah, about finding out that his nephew had died
30-year-old movie.
in a fire. So that was it's like, well, is he really being honest there? By the way, I forgot that the actor that portrayed that version of Renee from what was it, Family,
Mm-hmm.
um, of Next Gen, also then reoccurred as young Picard in Rascals.
Rascals.
I
Yeah.
totally
Yeah.
forgot that, so I thought that was so awesome.
That is pretty neat.
Um, but what they were trying to do
Mm-hmm.
is when they said, I'm not a man who needs a legacy, obviously was leading into the end scene reveal of, oh, here's a new piece of
Potential
human.
legacy?
So, um, the phonograph record, I want to know if that was replicated or if that was like stored in some kind of special, um, uh, I don't know, a temperature controlled environment or whatever. I just thought it was interesting that they had that, like, what was that? Would have been like a 19th century device.
Mm-hmm.
Did he just replicate all that, or was
Yes.
that legitimately like from his family's archive?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Ooh, all kinds of questions. I don't know. I'm not sure we're going to get the answer to that question on the
So,
show.
and the only reason why caught my interest is because growing up, my grandparents had one of
Yeah.
those,
Yeah.
and there was a record when we would get together. They had a cabin in the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
We go there once or twice a year or whatever.
Yeah.
And there was a record that all the record was someone laughing at someone making funny noises with a violin or something
Okay.
like that. And my sister, her and I, we would just spend hours just cracking up listening to this darn record. But again, it was one of those ones where you put the old vinyl on there, you put the heavy needle on.
Uh-huh.
So like, again, I'm a man of an age. So it just caught my
Yeah. I don't
attention.
think I've ever seen one of those in my real life.
And
Just on
crank it.
TV. Just you crank it up.
Um,
I'm blown away that even in the 25th century, we're still listening to music that I guess that their perspective is what 400, 500 years old by now.
yeah, exactly. Um, I had to give a quick shout out about the fat ones, and Frontier Day.
That has to be some sort of
Um,
commentary on people what fans have said, about the
yeah,
sleekness of the new designs.
exactly. Well, there have been so many different designs over the centuries,
Yeah,
and but the fact that they just settled on the fat one, I just loved it.
that's funny.
Um, and so yeah, I mean, I guess if I had spent, you know, 10 to 20 years of my adult life serving
Yeah.
and surviving on a particular ship, I would take offense to that. But um, one of the things I thought was really interesting was Riker's comment about taking time away from Deanna and Kestra, and that they would appreciate time away from him.
It's because they're just tired of pizza.
Maybe it's too much basil.
Too much.
But the one of the things I thought was funny is I actually was, what was it? I was trying to find out another piece of information for reference,
Mm-hmm.
and I came upon a Lower Decks episode where the Titan comes to the rescue of the Cerritos, and Mariner happens to be in command of the Cerritos at the
Mm-hmm.
time, and she's like, Riker, and
Yeah.
he's like, hey,
Yeah.
Mariner.
Yeah.
Boimler's like, you know each other, and one of the things I liked was Mariner was like, oh, where do you think I got all my contraband from? And Troy's like, we're talking about this later.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm kind of wondering, it's like, did they finally have that chat 20 years later, or whatever it was, of what he's actually doing
I
in
guess it
his,
depends on where your needle falls when it comes to how canon is
yeah.
Lower Decks.
So, but it was just funny. It's just like I said, I wasn't looking for that. But like I said, the line about him being away from,
They're just having struggles. They're just having trouble. Yeah, this is my theory. Here's my guess. Here's my immediate guess. Okay, this is what I think is going on. All right, pizza aside, that was a joke. All right, there's no such thing as too much
could be
pizza.
completely, yeah, unrelated. Who knows?
Completely unrelated.
Um,
No, what I think what it is when it comes to the Riker, Troy, and Kester situation is Picard came to visit. They had themselves a little mini adventure, and then Riker was like, "What am I doing sitting on this planet? We came here to save my kid. We were unsuccessful in that, and I'm just sitting here making pizza. I want to go back out into the stars." And they're like, "No, you're 70. Don't do that." And so now there's some struggle. There's some rift.
Maybe.
That's my theory, at least.
I guess we'll see. Plus, we also they never explored if Kestra has any empathic capabilities.
Oh my gosh, man.
At
Let me
least
tell you,
not that
man.
I can pick
Okay,
up on.
let me tell you. All right. Since we're talking about it, I know we had a structure and a plan for the episode, but who cares? All right. This is deck 10 associated with the 10th floor. We just do whatever we want. All right. I'm gonna go back way back. I'm gonna go into the Wayback Machine into season 1 of Picard. Okay, when they introduced Kestra. Okay.
Okay.
Dude, all right. So they get off the Borg cube and they go to this thing, and then I'm like, okay, Riker episode coming up. It's got to be. I know he's in the season. I haven't seen him so far. Who's Picard going to go to? Here's the Riker episode. They go to the planet and they run to this little girl. And I'm like, ooh, okay. She's got the bow and arrow and all that. I'm sure you remember. She's got face paint. Blah, 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 blah. Tension, tension. And I'm like, all right, I don't know what's good. I can see through this thing. This kid's no real danger to our heroes. And then Picard goes, you don't want to, Kestra, you don't want to hit me in the chest. I've got the artificial heart. You want to aim for somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
First time watching the episode, I had to pause it right there and have an emotional freaking reaction to the fact that they named this kid Kestra.
Oh yeah.
I had to pause. Not on the rewatch, on the first watch. It hit me like a ton of bricks. I went, oh my God, because I got to tell you, man, Dark Page
Oh yeah.
is my favorite episode of The Next Generation.
Yeah. And again, I mentioned to you before about having had the opportunity to stand next to Major Barrett
Yeah.
before she went on a stage. So yeah, seeing that portrayal in that story on Dark Page was just so heart wrenching.
And then and the layer that it brought Loax onto Troy, who was just comic relief silliness up at that point. The annoying in-law,
Yeah.
Just depth that carried with her into Deep Space Nine for her 3 appearances as well, and just so good. So they named that kid Kestra, and I had an emotional reaction because I'm like,
Oh, no. I definitely was not experiencing that, especially when their son wasn't named after her father.
No.
So it just and whatever, that's fine.
Right.
Whatever. But then we jumped, like you said, then we jumped to their second child, and their second child is named after this truly traumatic family event.
If we were doing live with like a chat going on, they would be screaming at us right now what their son's name was, which is helpful on my soap podcast, let me tell you, because I would imagine it might be connected to Riker's family in some way. I mean, the kid's name wasn't Thomas, I know that,
Yeah.
I don't remember what Riker's dad's name was, but he was on the show. Used to hang out
Yeah.
with Loxana. Uh,
No,
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 someone else. He used to hang out with
no.
somebody. A Crusher. No, who was it?
Dr. Pulaski.
Plasky. That's who it was. Ah, Plasky. Ah,
Mm.
what a sweetheart.
That's not the word I'd use, but okay. I enjoyed her journey.
She did have a journey. She did.
Yes.
She had a journey.
Oh, and we already know to expect a future character return later in the series of Picard.
We do.
Speaking of Pulaski,
We do.
not her, but if you watched any of the
I
trailers,
did watch the trailers, and I don't know. Oh, are you talking
there
about
is
Moriarty?
someone that Pulaski encountered
Oh.
and whose character we will be seeing later in the series.
You don't have to keep it cryptic because it's already in the trailer. You can just tell me who it is. Are you talking about Moriarty?
Yes.
Yes. Is Diana Mulder with us
So
still? Is she in this?
I don't care. I don't care if it's a dream sequence. I don't care if it's a fully formed, solid representation. I don't care.
Here's my thought. I can tell you my
love
thought
the
right
fact
now.
that we are going to see that character.
I've got
again.
theories galore, Lieutenant Commander the Matt. All right. Okay. I've seen these trailers. Okay. Not only did we get Moriarty in these trailers, okay, but we also got lore in these trailers.
Yes.
Okay. And this is my theory. This is my thought. This is what I think. All right. I don't know who the villain's name is yet. I'm sure people already know what it is, but I don't know what it is. But the lady with the slick hair, with the, and she's
Yes.
just so
Yes.
angry at Picard for some reason. Uh, I think that
I don't think it's bad hair products, but
she has
go
sprung lore in some way. She's got lore on her side. All right, and they're dealing with the fact that lore is on her side. He's a super thinking android. Okay, he's just as capable, if not more, of what Data was able to do. So he's causing a lot of problems for our heroes. And so they're like, who can beat Data? And they're like, wait a minute, we made a hologram specifically designed to beat Data. Let's go get him.
Yes. All Geordie's fault. Hey, I have more notes.
I'm sure you do. Let's do it, man.
So let's see. Okay. So I don't remember if we're supposed to just assume that we were told that Myriad existed and just accept it into because I remember obviously they scrambled communications when Jean-Luc Picard was
Yeah.
Locutus.
Yeah.
Yes, that was established. I just don't remember this whole Myriad part. Then they throw in this whole Hellbird virus thing, and it's like, oh, wait, I don't remember that being a thing either. So again, I don't know if we're rewriting history, fine, whatever. I just would like confirmation.
We're
on
adding
that.
more detail where detail had not been there before.
Yeah,
I would
okay,
imagine
if
in the
that's-
best of both worlds, they're like, oh no, the Borg have affected our systems, Captain. We're working on it. And now
Yeah.
we got specifically how the Borg had affected their systems.
Yeah. So again, that's fine. I would just like a little more clarification. So I remember in the one or more of the trailers, we saw Rafi appear to use some type of substance.
Something.
And
Little
then
squint.
when it came to this first episode, we saw her in possession of what looked like that might have been, and then she lets go of it. And then on top of that, she herself says, "My girlfriend left me."
Yes.
But at the same time, we know she was playing a role in order
true. It's
to
not- I don't-
gather intelligence. But we then see said referenced girlfriend in a completely different role this season than we saw her in the last season.
Mhm.
So I'm really dying to know what the development is there.
I have to go into deep space on the Titan A. I just don't have time to focus on you, Rafi, like you need to be focused on. I don't know. Long distance in the galaxy is really challenging.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Even on a ship that goes warp 9.99 to get to the Federation space.
Especially, does your ship have holographic communications? Does it not have holographic communications? Whether it's 23rd century or 25th century. One of the things I really liked was the reintroduction, and I'm sorry if I get this wrong. I apologize to any persons that have served. The bosun whistle, it's spelled botswain, and I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, but anyway, it was introduced. The model that they used on the show
Mm-hmm.
was introduced again in the Wrath of Khan,
Yeah.
and but it was a nice throwback
Mm-hmm.
to a previous generation. Um, you and I previously talked about the whole Annika 7 dead naming
Yes.
thing.
Yes, we did.
And again, I was super happy to see that get the attention that it got.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like a 5 second passing or whatever. They gave it just enough mention to say um, Seven slash Annika is bothered by
I got
this.
to tell you, it was
But
brilliant how they put it together too. All
yeah,
right. So,
but
so
her
it,
commanding officer
yeah.
is making it a point to be an issue.
Yeah, so she shows up, she tells him this stuff, how, I'm Monica Hansen on the ship, the captain prefers it that way. And, they talked about it and they kind of let the moment sit for a second. And then
Yeah,
they also made sure that Picard was calling her Seven every single time from then on out,
yeah,
which was great. But what I think really popped it off was that was the setup for the payoff that was coming at the end of the dinner when Captain Shaw is all like, I'm not going to take no advice from some freaking ex-Borg. So
oh,
you put together the fact that Captain Shaw doesn't want her to be known as Seven, wants her to be known as Hansen, and then calls Locutus an ex-Borg and is very rude about it. It automatically puts the audience, or at least me, it automatically made me realize what Seven of Nine has been going through.
yeah. Oh well, it's trying to. I'm, I'm trying not to pause a lot like I did before, but there was definitely an intention to
Mm-hmm.
say this is a bigger thing than what you're seeing,
Yes,
um, and the fact that Shaw goes out of his way to
bring up the
lazily,
Borg thing.
well, no, but very lazily insult
Yeah,
everybody he can,
yeah.
um, and knowing that he knew what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I just thought it was I appreciated them putting the time into those
Yeah.
15
I think
seconds
that
or
is,
whatever it was.
what is Shaw's deal, man? I don't know. We'll find out
Yeah,
before he dies, I'm sure.
I'm sure. Yeah. Um, we go back to the Titan bridge, and the Bajoran deck officer
Mm-hmm.
is wearing rings,
Okay.
not an earring with
Mm-hmm.
a chain
Okay. Updated Bajoran
and
fashions.
an emblem, but ring, 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 ring. So anyway, I'm just curious. We've never seen that before.
No?
So, but the Bajoran faith has been pivotal in that culture. So, again, I'm just kind of curious.
Yeah, very
Was
curious.
this one person's personal interpretation, fashion thing, or is this another faction?
Gosh, I don't know. We've had 20, 30 years since the end of Deep Space Nine at this point on Picard, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it could be just the growth of Bajoran
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
culture. It could be the growth of the religious culture.
Yeah.
It could
This could
even
be.
also be a sign of maybe some waning interest in the Bajoran religion now that they're so far
Yeah.
removed from the occupation.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So again, it was something. It's like that's noticeable enough. I want to know why they made a point of doing it.
Yeah. Okay. Now,
Um,
Picard's not now. Picard season one also had some interesting piercings on Soji's boyfriend that got killed in like the first episode. This is a way callback. I don't know if you're even going to remember what
are
this
you
dude
talking
looked like.
about the Romulan agent?
No, not Soji. Then the other one. I don't remember.
Daj.
Dodge. Yeah. So she had a boyfriend in the beginning of the episode that got shot up, or maybe
Okay.
it was so. I don't know. I think it was Dodge, who got shot up and killed by the Romulan agents, and then
Uh
that's when
huh.
she realized that she had all these like fighting powers and got away
Uh
and
huh.
got the tricorder that said go find Picard. But her boyfriend was like this some sort of alien that I can't recognize. It was new for the show, but he also had all kinds of interesting little spike piercings and
Yeah.
stuff, like maybe a little thing, whatever that thing is. Um, So I don't know, just new punks, just punks in the 24th century.
It could be completely alien that
Yeah.
just identifies with another culture.
Yeah,
Who
you know,
knows?
I mean, the options are endless, especially in
Yeah,
2023 Star Trek, where the even the wide open doors that existed in the political structure of Star Trek are even wider than they were before.
yeah.
So I don't know, I can go on about that for a whole episode.
Well, like I said, all of these. Um, the reference to Warp 9.9, Shut It Will, uh, and then also they threw in the metaphasic shields,
Uh-huh.
which again I loved only because that was a big Bev story.
Hmm.
Uh, and then, of course, where Seven says engage, and you see Picard do his nod.
So
Uh,
that's in a moment that I picked up on my rewatch because I watched it earlier today, and she said so he gives her the permission, so to speak, to take the ship out, and she like has this moment where she takes this breath, like this almost like nervous breath before saying engage, and it took me a second. I'm like, why is that a thing? Why was that a choice? Why was that worked into the show? And it took me a second, but I finally came to the understanding it's because she was about to say engage in front of the man that made the term famous.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Ah,
So I
it shows
loved
the
that.
respect. Shows the respect that Seven has for Picard. Like it's good to
Um,
include things like that because you can say I respect you, I want to be like you as much as you want, but it's moments like that that show it to be true.
uh, well, no, well, no, again, could go on for hours. Um, the back to the infamous dinner.
Yeah.
Um, Admiral Picard walks in, says, "Here's this awesome wine that my family has been developing
Yeah.
for literally generations."
More of this guy, this kind.
And which, by the way, Chateau Picard is known as a Bordeaux.
Okay.
Shaw makes it a comment to say, "I'm more of a Malbec guy."
Mm-hmm.
Well, I did the little of the Google thing, and
Oh.
apparently Malbec is one of the grapes that is included in the mixture for Bordeaux. So I just like wine that tastes good.
Yeah.
Uh,
Right.
it's like I like my Oregon Pinot
Ooh,
Noir,
what's the
just
vintage?
because it's
I
nice
don't.
and
I don't
smooth.
know. Right.
But at the same time, it's like, did I totally miss the joke, or did they screw it up? So and again, again, it's just
Oh.
one of those things. It's like, was it something that Shaw's character found a way to nitpick to show that I have no respect for you, or was it a writer thing that no one's gonna notice?
I don't know. I think wine is popular enough for somebody to be able to do a moderate amount of research on to make sure that they're getting it right. So this may be either I don't know, a thing. You know, they left a coffee cup on the
Yeah,
Game of Thrones. You know, sometimes things happen. Or it could
let's not
be,
start another show.
or
Um,
it could be a indication that maybe Shaw is not as smart,
yeah,
you know, as
yeah,
he tries to
yeah.
show. So I don't know. We'll see. This is why I wanted to, you know, I'm not. I mean, this isn't a criticism, but I'm going to say that this is why I wanted to. But it doesn't mean that this is a criticism. But this is why I really wanted to get into the details after the second episode because you know, all these new people, these new players. I want to know a little bit more about them. That way, I'm
Yeah.
not just you know waxing muse all the time about things that are not true. Anyway, what else did you write down, man? Like
We
these are
got to
quality.
see.
I'm gonna have you just do this every week, and I'm just gonna react to what you say.
Well, okay. Well, I only watched it twice, so
Well, no, I
um,
mean, hmm.
and oh, there's still more. The Rafi's granddaughter,
Yes.
um, and the reason why I wanted to bring that up. Whoa, scrolled way past where I wanted to. Oh, because we met her son earlier in Picard, who is played by Mason Gooding,
Yeah.
who is also known for, among many other projects, known for Love Victor.
Mm-hmm.
So I was really, really, really hoping we got to see his character again, but I can understand if they never do because it was clearly established that, look, mom, um, things were not good. Things were never good, and I don't need you in my life.
Don't think things are
That
ever
whole
going to be
discussion
good.
happened.
Yeah.
So If they don't bring him back, I can understand, but I would just, as a fan of the actor, it would be
Hmm.
nice to see him again.
You just watch Scream
Um,
6 and hope he survives.
yeah, I was really intently looking to see if they put Romulan ears on the granddaughter, since
Mm.
she's part Romulan.
Right.
It doesn't matter, but I was just kind of curious if they were going to go for that detail. And of course, the hair, covers her ears
Hmm.
just enough, so can't quite tell.
Oh.
But again, it was more of an aesthetic
I
curiosity.
mean, so if the Vulcan DNA is to be believed, it's still pretty strong when it comes to half human, half Vulcan. Spock was
Mhm.
very Vulcan looking. He still had the eyebrows, he still had the ears. So one would assume that a half Romulan, half human child. Sela
Same.
is half human, half Romulan. She had the ears, boom,
Yeah,
done. And then
yeah.
they had one guy in the Next Generation during that one episode where the admiral was going through like saying, "Oh, you're a spy because you know this person, right?" And they had this one ensign who had pointed ears, and they're like, "Oh well, you lied to
Oh,
us. You
Drumhead.
said you were a Romulan. You said you had Vulcan ancestry. As it turns out, you have
You're talking
Romulan
about
ancestry."
Admiral Satie
Yeah,
coming in to interrogate everybody and
yeah.
find all the
Yeah,
conspiracies.
yeah. And she's like, "Oh, well, you're a Romulan, so therefore you're a spy." And he's like, "My grandfather was a Romulan. I didn't even ever talk to him. Oh my god." Yeah.
But he lied on his
But
Starfleet
he
application,
lied. He
so his career's
lied.
over, even though he was cute. But anyway,
So it has been established that yes, the
yeah,
pointed ears will persist at least for 2 generations.
yeah. But I was again, it was like it was kind of an aesthetic thing. It's like if they had chose to do that or not. Um, so anyway, it was just a curiosity.
Yeah.
But I also appreciated her having access to see her granddaughter, even though her son doesn't want her to be in their life.
Yeah.
So I appreciated the scene. Um, it was apparent that Rafi was working off of the La Serena. I thought it interesting. Most of the
How?
scenes, huh?
How? Didn't
Background.
no, no, and not how do you know? How would she have the last rain? Didn't Girardi take it to the Delta Quadrant and Q
I don't
snapped them
think
to the
she did.
future?
I don't think she did, but I
I thought
could be
she
wrong.
did.
I could be
How
wrong.
did she else did
I
she get
might
to
have
the
to.
Delta Quadrant? I
Well,
thought she took the La
again,
Serena and
I
Q
did.
brought
I
him
did
back.
not have. I did not have the proper compression of time to go through all
How
the episodes
dare
that I
you
wanted to
not
go
watch
through.
20 episodes of a series before sitting down to talk to me about it? How dare you?
Just within. Yeah.
Within a
I
couple
mean,
of
I
days.
had all of like what, like almost a week.
Almost a whole week. Come on,
Yes.
man. Come on.
But no, you might be correct. I'll have to go back and look at that. But
I'm totally open to being way wrong.
judging from the background, that's what it looked like.
Uh-huh.
And one of the things that threw me was that she was all 2D with the controls.
Hmm.
Which, by the way, side note, I'm really shocked that Michael Okuda is not referenced anywhere in this season. Not that he's required anytime they do L cars, but
Hmm.
at the same time, it's just the visual heaviness of this season so far. I'm just surprised that they
Well,
didn't bring him
I mean, just for we're not going to get to the characters we wrote down. By the way, we're just too much about this.
in.
But I am going to transition for the people. My little L car setup. Well, we will talk about Wesley a little bit at the end because I'm very curious as
Okay.
to know why Wesley Crusher is your favorite Next Generation character.
Okay.
But if we have time. But L cars. Just so everybody has an example. Now back to us. Hi. Is so synonymous visually with Star Trek.
Yeah.
You see that, you know exactly what franchise it is.
Yeah.
The Delta, the Star Trek Delta plus L cars, I would say maybe two of the most recognizable things
Yeah.
from Star Trek. I don't want to pick one of the ships because I don't know which one would be more recognizable to the average person, the original Enterprise and the Enterprise D. But yeah, just I don't know. But then again, when it comes to Hollywood and who owns what and who gets what credit for what, if your name gets
Yeah.
printed on something, they have to pay you, and I just don't
Yeah.
know where we're at with that right now. And Okuda's relationship with Star Trek, which
Yeah.
might not even exist anymore.
He hasn't done anything for a while, but he's still definitely a fan. So,
Good.
um, going back to I loved this. So I don't, and again, I don't know why this was, but at this point in the show, I was getting to the point of like, okay, clearly we have a connection with Wrath of Khan,
Hmm.
at least those few years. But Captain Shaw coming onto the bridge, adjusting his uniform, made me think of Kirk coming onto the bridge with the "Go climb a rock."
Hmm.
He's, adjusting and everything. So again, don't know if that was intentional. It probably wasn't that specific reference, but it
Just,
just
just disheveled coming out of bed. Now,
yeah,
what deck are your quarters on? Because you're still tucking in your shirt when you make it to the bridge.
exactly. It's
Huh.
like how did that? Yeah, with the turbo lift get stuck
Well, I mean,
or
if the
not
ship
get
goes
stuck?
warp
It's like
9.99, I guess the
so
turbo
maybe
lifts just
maybe
go,
the turbo lifts go a little
they go at
faster.
full impulse.
Yeah. The Picard's Admiral badge
Hmm.
was very reminiscent of 23rd design.
Okay.
Um,
We're just,
there was
it's
a
just,
section.
well, Starfleet is just feeling a retro trend right now.
Maybe it
You
could
know,
be. It could be. Who knows? Um, well, it's not Jadzia anymore, but maybe Esri Dax was put in charge of. Maybe she's the deputy under LaForge for the museum, and she's pushing the whole retro look. Anyway, that's oh gosh, you
Esri
got to
Dax and
watch a
Tom
lot more to
Paris.
get all that. Um, the Let's see. Oh, Rafi asks, "Oh, what big events are coming up?" And they talk about the Gratitude
Yeah.
Festival on
Yeah.
Bayshore. What was that? Palar Joy,
Peldar Joy, everybody. You take your
Palar
little
Joy.
scrolls
Um,
and you throw it in the fire, and and it
yes,
releases your troubles, your burdens. Morn has a
but
list just as long as your arm.
on Earth, that's a pagan thing. But
Is
shh.
it?
Anyway,
Hmm.
um, Empire Day on Kronos, and then Frontier Day on Earth.
Yes.
So, but I just thought it was cute that they kind of
Yeah.
threw that in there. Again,
Yeah.
had you been a fan of watching all these shows, you would have encountered
And
these.
that's what's really nice about these new seasons of these new series of Star Trek over the last 5-6 years now, right?
Yeah,
Discovery going into its sixth season next or fifth?
gosh, I don't
I don't
know.
know.
I know,
I
I know
think
I watched the
it's gonna
last
get seven.
episode. I just don't remember which season it
I don't
was.
remember how many seasons it's in either. I think it finished its fourth and it's going into its fifth next.
I
I feel
just
like
remember
it's gonna
that
go seven.
hopefully, I was like, hopefully Discovery is back inside the galaxy
Right.
at this point.
Well, I mean, it'll be a little bit different. But what I appreciate about these new shows is that they're clearly being made by people who loved the original shows,
Yes, yes,
the original series to Enterprise.
yes.
Because the amount of love, of reference, of real lore, established lore that existed,
Yeah.
just little tiny things like the things that you're going through right now. It just, I love it. And I don't know. It's cool. It's cool because when you have a franchise that goes as long as Star Trek or Star Wars or something like that, you get to a point in which the guard changes to the people who grew up watching it.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's neat. It's got to be so cool to work on it.
yeah. The one of the things that bothered me, again, being someone who has seen other components of the franchise, was the reference to the Red Lady, and I think you
Okay.
know where I'm going with this.
Rachel
Uh,
Garrett. You don't like Rachel Garrett?
I love Rachel Garrett. She was phenomenal, and I am glad she's getting her kudos.
Yeah.
My problem is with the term Red Lady
Oh.
because only in the last 2 years did we have a major plot development on another series referring to the Red Angel.
Mmm.
And it was just too close of a reference.
Yeah. Okay. I see
Um,
that.
and it's like, on top of that, is well, I couldn't even say, I can't think of an element like something that you would mine from a planet that would look the way it did to make the statue of Rachel Garrett red.
Yeah. I don't know why she's red.
Um, like I said, I could. There's it's like, okay, if it was orangish, dark red, okay, maybe we could look at iron or copper, or there's these other elements. But it's like, to me, it's like, why did they make it red?
I don't know. I would
Um,
imagine they made it red just so they can call her the Red Lady and have this. Well, what is the Red Lady? Is it a person? Is it a
okay,
person? Oh, it's a statue.
but again,
It's not great.
maybe one or two of the writers might have seen the other show when we kept referring to the Red Angel
Okay, maybe
for an
it should have been the
entire
blue
season.
lady. It should have been the gray lady. It could have been the well, they
It could have
can't.
been there are other colors.
There are the pink
There
lady.
are
We go
multiple
together
elements,
like
and
llama, llama, llama,
so anyway,
ding, ding, ding,
that bugged me a bit. But I loved the fact that they brought Rachel Garrett back in, just to give her character
But did
kudos.
she
So
really make it to the frontier, though? I don't know if she made it to the frontier.
eh,
She was kind of blowing up over a Klingon colony.
yeah, but like sometimes they appreciate that.
No,
So
but is this going to be our subtle reference to the fact that Seal is actually in the show? You
maybe
know.
I'm fine. I'm fine with that. I think you had mentioned, just because um, Denise and Will have said, "Oh, we have nothing to do
We have
with
nothing to do
this,"
with it.
they could be lying.
Yeah.
So
I know
who
someone who
knows?
lied through their teeth about being a part of a thing.
Yeah,
His
who
name was
knows?
Andrew Garfield. All right, he lied through his teeth. All right.
um, let's see. I didn't think of this at the time, until I was trying to look up other stuff, and I saw it on another website. But people made comments about Card's mixtape for Beverly.
Mm-hmm.
So I just thought that was kind of a cute
That's cute. Who makes
reference.
mixtapes in the
Um,
24th century? It was adorable.
yeah, it's like in lieu of roses and chocolates, he made her a mixtape. So same thing with Riker is looking at when they're looking at the blast patterns, and he's like, Captain, and he's like,
All
huh?
right.
Oh, sorry, old
I
habits.
think his exact word was eh.
Yeah, yeah.
Eh?
So I do have to say, once Riker and Picard are on Ilios, and Picard is on the bridge or wherever it is at,
Mm-hmm.
and he wipes his hand across the pod to see Beverly.
Yeah.
I was waiting for Jonesy to jump out. And if you
Jonesy.
don't know what I'm referring to, you need to go back and watch Alien and then
Oh,
Aliens.
got it. Okay.
I was as soon as I saw him wipe the
Nah.
fog off of it, I
Instead,
was
we get
waiting for it.
presumably Jack Crusher Jr. or something. I don't know.
So, and I don't know if it was on purpose. It may have been on purpose without telling anybody, kind of thing.
Are English accents genetic?
Maybe. That's coming up. Uh, Beverly's son, and I didn't think. Of course, I didn't think about it at the time. But again, going back through some other people's observations and stuff, the strong correlations back to David Marcus
Mm-hmm.
from
Yeah.
Wrath of Khan, and it's like once that point was made, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I can kind of see the correlation. So whether or not we find out Beverly's son is Beverly's son, and who his genetic father may or may not be, whatever. But it was an interesting moment.
So to me, hanging up on this thing here.
Yeah,
This Mr. Crusher. I don't know what his first name is yet because they didn't say. It could be Jack. I
yeah.
don't know. And if it's in the credits, I didn't read it, so I don't know.
Actually, I think he is referred to Jack, but I don't think it's been officially said.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
the dialogue.
I've just seen it out there, Jack. So for the sake of the show, for right now, we'll call him Jack. So if Jack really is the child of Crusher and Picard, one, amazing medicine in the 24th century because they were a little past their prime. Number two, how on earth would Picard really not know about this unless Crusher got pregnant and immediately left? And if that's the case, why? What the hell?
Tough story.
So when it comes to it being like a full real, like I got pregnant and left and I didn't want to tell you because of so, I don't think that that's the case because it just doesn't make, he's too old. Like the character would have to be 23, not 28 or
Well, they
33,
did say 20 years. It's been 20 years.
Right. So this guy would have to be 20, you know,
Yeah.
and he does not look 20 to me. So I'm
Well,
going
he
to right
doesn't have
now
the
assume
right,
that he might
you
look a
know.
little older. I'm thinking that he might be some sort of genetic clone,
Maybe.
some sort of sci-fi blast energy combined our genetic structure somehow and created this new
Something
entity of
involving
a
a
human.
candle.
Some something. Q's kid was like, "Hey, I'm bored. Now you guys got a
Yeah.
kid," and ran
There you
off.
go.
I don't know. So I'm curious to see how all this is gonna go. And if it is a traditional pregnancy, cool. I just hope the story's great.
Yeah. 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 Um, my closing comments were about the credits. Um, there was a note where it said holodeck programming 10 forward safety protocols offline. I'm wondering why that was all in the same thing. So
Could be a
anyway,
nod to
I
what's
just
coming up soon in the season. Maybe there's going to be some
yeah.
sort of something. It would be very shocking to me, even though they've made statement. This isn't Next Generation season 8. This is totally different than blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff. We're not going for, capturing the same energy as the Next Generation. But I think that they would be really remiss to not put all of those actors on a familiar set, whether it be
Mhm.
10 Forward or The Bridge or something. Whether, a holodeck situation where they're running in there and have to shoot the Borg full of lead again. I don't know.
Yeah. I just thought it was interesting. Like I said, 10 forward, safety protocols
Yeah.
offline. So yeah, was that a callback to the Borg in First Contact,
Yeah.
or is this something new? So um, there was what looked to be a brain map kind of
Hmm.
thing. So was that a positronic reference, or just a random?
I
Here's a
would
bunch of
have to
different
look at it
points on one of
again.
your brain.
I would have to look at if it was really wrinkly, because Data didn't have a wrinkly brain. He had a very well lit brain with all
That
of the
that
lights.
one I think was a general shape,
Okay.
so without
So it could be
texture. But
positronic. Now, if it is a wrinkly human brain or something like that, all right. I don't know if you picked up on this on your two watches, but I picked up on the second one. Picard's golem body is already failing, and he's starting to slide into dementia.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah. So.
that, in fact, I forgot that was season one.
Hmm.
For some reason, I had it in my brain that it was part of season two.
No.
And when I went back and watched parts of season one, I was like, oh, no, no. So he's now a year ish, whatever,
A
whatever the
two or
time
three
frame
or something
is.
like that.
Yeah. And they never really established, they're like, oh, you're going to age naturally. Well, what's naturally? Another 15, 20 years or another 3 months?
Yeah.
Especially considering the Irumadi syndrome.
Right.
So anyway, again, another show. Um, the Titan Neo Constitution class was shown.
Hmm.
What I thought was interesting, they made a point to show the USS Constance Constellation class, which was a four nacelle
Hmm.
ship, apparently who has been established to have been at Wolf 359. So again, what was the point of
Right. So my theory. So I really do think that these are Easter eggs for what's coming up in the
yeah.
season. Because Shaw clearly has an issue with not the Borg. Okay.
Mhm.
He's got a problem. Well, yes, the Borg. But why would a Federation officer have a problem with the Borg? And why
Mhm.
would he have mentioned, "I'm not going to take any orders from you, ex
It's
Borg,"
good. Are we like
unless he lost some
reminiscent of
family in Wolf 359?
yeah? Are we reminiscent of early Cisco?
I think so. But instead of getting over it,
Yeah,
he didn't.
yeah, yeah.
So I think that's
So
going to play into it. And maybe that was the ship he was on.
yeah, there was a reference to under Starfleet Museum. They listed Voyager, they listed Pioneer, and they
Mhm.
listed Enterprise. I wanted to point out Pioneer was what Dr. Zimmerman back in was that Voyager
Uh-huh.
referred to Voyager as. He's like, what is that? The Pioneer?
Okay.
Um, so I just thought it was interesting that they included that ship name. Um, the alert condition red,
Yes.
definitely the style,
Yeah.
definitely a throwback
Yeah.
to Wrath of Khan.
Use it forever. They've used it forever, and they should continue to
Yeah,
use it forever. It's a
yeah. I
great
mean, it
little
definitely
thing.
wasn't, definitely didn't exist with the read alert
No.
back in Enterprise, but they got there eventually.
Yeah.
So, and then I saw it the first time, and it just didn't register, and I thought it was really nice that they dedicated the episode to Annie. Annie, for those that don't know, was the Borg Queen in season two of
Yeah.
Picard.
Anywhere
She
sweet.
also appeared in Voyager. And I'm sorry, I wrote it down and it didn't get saved, but it was an episode where we find out her character was recreated by her father as a hologram. She didn't realize that or whatever. I think.
Gosh, I
If
don't
I'm
even remember that from Voyager.
yeah, it was a Voyager episode. Um, Colony ship crash lands. No one survives except for like apparently the one dude,
Hmm.
and he resurrects his child as a hologram or
I
something.
remember the Deep Space Nine
Again,
episode
if
with the
I am
village.
way wrong and way off on that, the actress was in Voyager, so I know I'm
Listen,
correct in
I
that.
don't know. I'm not here to tell you you're wrong. Okay, I can't back you up,
But
but
but yeah, if I'm getting my details incorrect, obviously I expect people to correct
oh,
me
well,
on that.
comment. Comment nice.
Yes.
Comment politely, okay? People, comment politely.
But I thought it was like the second time I watched the show, and then I saw it and I was like, oh, it's Annie Wershing. Okay, that's it was nice that they did
Yeah,
that.
I didn't know who Annie was at the top of my head. Oh yeah, look at that, Annie Wershing. Um, yeah, yeah, she played a character named Leanna on Star Trek Enterprise.
Wait, Enterprise. I
Yeah.
thought it was Voyager.
No, according to this, Leanna, played by Annie
But
Wershing,
I'm okay. But I'm pretty sure I have my storyline
unidentified
vaguely,
planet,
vaguely,
Enterprise.
vaguely.
They were attacked by holographic Leanna, hologram offline, told the crew, father's ruse, yada, blah, yada, something, something. I don't know. Oasis was the name of the episode. Basically, we'll just have
Yeah,
to go back and watch it or something. Or,
yeah.
politely comment with the correct answer for us, and we'll read it next week. What else
So
you got?
anyway,
Is
so
that
that
it?
was that was those were just my few
Okay.
notes,
Well, I just a few, just a handful of what you wrote down while you were watching it.
and that was only what
Oh,
5, 6, an hour and a half,
you know,
really.
that's fine. That's fine. It's okay. It's okay because I've got more to add. Because in addition to all of this cool tiny stuff that you found, DNA was all over this thing. All kinds of
Yes.
representations of
Yeah.
DNA, Gattaca codes, all that kind of stuff. And so to me, that just kind of leads into my Jack Crusher ain't a biological real, like when a man loves a woman child. Like something else happened. Uh, So I don't know. We'll see. I'm interested. I'm on board. I will give episode 1 of Picard all kinds of credit and kudos for, like I said last week, just outpacing the previous 2 episodes and keeping it going and being interested in not taking 3 episodes to blow up to have the terrorist attack, not taking 3 episodes to find Crusher, because that means we're gonna get more. We're gonna get content. We're gonna get adventure, and I'm excited.
So far, we've only seen Riker and Beverly.
That's it.
We haven't seen the other
5.
characters that we know are coming.
There's still Troy. We haven't seen her. Okay. There's still
Uh-huh.
Geordi. He was mentioned twice. Haven't seen him. Okay. We haven't seen Worf. We haven't seen Lore. Okay. Who else?
So,
I don't know. Let's bring it out. Jellicoe. Bring out Jellicoe. All right. He's an
oh,
admiral now.
that I
Did
forgot
he
about
die?
that.
No, he's still alive.
I
Yeah.
think he's still serving. The someone said that they felt that Shaw was the new Jellicoe when it came to. I see what you did. That's not how we do things in Starfleet, and you're always going to be wrong.
See,
Um,
Jellicoe was a hard ass. I found Shaw to just be an asshole.
yeah. I mean, maybe he's just doing a poor job of it. Um, but I just thought it was interesting that I hadn't quite seen it that way, where like Shaw's opinion of himself was, well, I'm right and you're wrong, and that's just not going to change. Um, but yeah,
He's just not a
it's the same.
flyboy, man. He's not a flyboy. He's not out there to cause problems. He's not out there to disobey
None of
orders
this
and crash the
cowboy
ship.
diplomacy.
No more cowboy diplomacy. Not on my ship. All right. I had to purge the computer of your terrible jazz. Okay. I need something with structure. I need something with.
Oh, I was really worried when they were going into that, because I'm like, one of the things I thought about was Minuet. Now I realized she was lost
Mm-hmm.
when the augmentations by the binars had
Yeah.
been undone.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, oh, please don't touch that.
No. You can't. He's a married man with 2 kids. He doesn't need to go visit Minuet.
No, but at the same time, it's like I'm glad it just didn't come up, just because it was just such an awesome reference. And
Well, he would have had to save it from the Enterprise D after it crashed anyway. So who knows how many files were salvageable. I'm surprised Moriarty survived, unless they just took him to
maybe
Starbase
that's
8 or
why
something.
Deanna is not talking to him.
I found your hologram, Will.
We were only playing instruments.
I swear to God, it means nothing, Deanna. Oh no! Oh no! Though that was great. I don't have any
Just
notes because I
jazz.
didn't write down any notes about season one or episode one of season three of Picard. But I think that you covered it in great detail, and I think we might have happened to stumble on our format here because there's no way in hell we can both take such notes as that and not have a 4 hour conversation every week, which is too much time for me. Um,
Well, I think a great way for that is for me to send you my
yeah.
notes and you to cross out everything that you want to skip, which is totally
We'll
fine.
work on it, because I am never ever, unless you are paying me, and I'm not getting paid for this yet. I am never going to sit down and watch the show 8 times and tear it apart and write a bunch of notes and go, oh well, I saw this little corner of this little flash and it was yellow, okay, and that yellow was significant because yellow happened to be Rom's favorite color, and Rom likes yellow flowers, and Rom bought yellow flowers for Lita. So that means the Dominion is on the way. I'm never going to be able to do that, but you can.
I have sat across the table from people at conventions
Yeah.
with this conversation. So, and all respect to those people,
I
because
just
like I
don't have
said,
the time in my day.
no, yeah, that's fine. So,
So yeah. Well, it's gonna be great. Together we're gonna get to the nitty gritty of it. You have so much knowledge. You have so much experience watching this show. I mean, Star Trek came out when you were already 36 years old, so I understand that you have just. I'm totally
I
kidding.
was younger.
I know. That's why I picked the age of 36. It's obviously wrong.
Well, you know what? Well, even though we didn't really cover it, we said there were some favorite characters of the
Okay, yeah.
series that
Okay.
we
Well,
could
since
talk
I
about,
said it,
and
I
we
have
don't
to
have to cover them.
promise. No, well,
But I'm
well,
going
I
to
said
say,
one, so we have to talk about it
okay,
because it was a promise. It became a promise.
okay. Well, the reason why I picked Wesley
Yeah.
from Next Generation, as much as people hated him,
Hmm.
I also related to why they hated him. Not the smart guy, um, but um, the actor and I are very close in age, less than a
Okay.
year apart.
Uh huh.
Um, and it was like I usually tell people when Wesley got his full commission
Hmm.
ensign and came onto the bridge in his ensign uniform, that was like, oh, I like boys.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. That makes total
So
sense.
that was an important
Well,
moment
I
for me.
mean, I did purposefully pick this specific photo, Wesley Crusher. Wesley in the
Yes,
red with the ensign, the full commission Wesley. Very short period of time on the show because he was
yeah,
off
it
on
was.
Starfleet
It
Academy during
was.
the time. He usually wearing that gray thing.
I do have to say his appearance, Will slash Wesley's appearance in season 2 of Picard
Yeah.
was a much better send off than the one they gave him in Next Gen,
Yeah.
um, where his character had
Yeah.
left the show. But anyway,
So,
um,
but I picked
but
this
no,
picture of
there
Wesley.
were there
Just
were
hold on real quick. I picked this picture of
okay.
Wesley simply because of the smolder. Look at this. Look at the smolder. All right. So I get it. I understand.
But there were, and the interesting thing was is that the actor's life and my life we had our own challenges.
Hmm.
He had a completely unique set of experiences from me,
Yeah.
vice versa, and stuff like that. But at the same time, I don't know, it was just really interesting to grow up with a character that where there were some relatable things. One of the main things I related to with the character was the fact that I was just good at some things that a lot of people around me weren't good
Hmm.
at. And I wasn't trying to be a smartass. I
Yeah.
wasn't trying to make anybody
Just
look
came
bad.
easy for you.
Yeah, it's just something that came easy, and I enjoyed doing those things.
Yeah.
And I was actually teased because of that,
Okay. So
or I
you
was
you
made
saw a
fun of.
lot of yourself in Wesley.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
So, and again, going into the character, I didn't see it that way, but I became to understand
Hmm.
that. Um, I wish I could have followed Will Wheaton around for a decade or two just to be in his shadow. So every time someone thought they were being funny and said, "Shut up, Wesley," I could have just decked them.
Oh my gosh.
Um,
Oh my gosh, taking it so personally.
well, yeah, it was because again, it's like I said,
He's
I
the
identify.
Neelix, man. He's the Neelix of the show. Okay, he's just the easy target. The easy target.
Can we say Jar Jar Banks? So,
No, yeah.
um, I do. I was very close to picking Neelix as my favorite character for Voyager. So
Actually, you just I it's a personality. Everybody, look at this. Look at this, Lieutenant Commander the Matt. All right, you're looking way up here for characters. You know, you're looking at Kirk, you're looking at Pike, you're looking at Janeway.
uh,
He's going, nah, I'm down here. Okay, I like the
mm,
mid card. Okay, but that's all right.
mm,
You know, I put I like Garrick. You know, he wasn't never even a main cast member,
no,
so I get it. I get it. I get it. I
and I
get it.
got my picture taken with the actor.
Yeah, yeah, that's really cool. That's really neat. I'm proud of you for that.
I wish I could have spent more than the hot, what, two
Two
seconds it
seconds.
was.
Yeah, yeah. That's
You know,
it's
just at least
unfortunate.
anything up. I wish I could have shook his hand and said, just thank you for being,
Mhm.
portraying an awesome
Yeah,
character.
because my mom and I, we do the General Hospital podcast.
Mhm.
We went to the GH convention last year in
Okay.
March, and we did it. We did a photo op. We were talking about, we're like, should we do one? Should we not do one? I mean, do we just need a picture? I mean, is that worth the memory? I don't know. Blah blah blah. And then we finally settled on, well, we don't know if we're ever going to come to anything like this
Yeah.
again. Might as well get a picture with, we got it with Sunny, Nina, and Carly, who are the three big leads on the General Hospital right now. So we're like, might as well. But the experience was pretty much, hey, hand this stranger money, stand in line, go be in the same room with these actors for about 3 seconds,
Yep.
and then move on. Here's your picture. So it's like, cool, I have it. I mean, it's proved that I was in the same room with these people, but this literally was the experience.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But
I do have to say though, my best off rails. The oh gosh, I don't remember where it was. I got to meet Anthony Daniels at the C-3PO
uh-huh.
from Star Wars, and he made it a point to hold this little C-3PO figurine. Like he had somebody hold it, or he was holding it, or
Uh-huh.
whatever. It was just a thing he wanted to do with each. So I'm like, I grabbed it and I held it as if it was like a little angel or demon on his shoulder.
Uh-huh.
Oh, and he loved it. And so again, it was, we're talking like 8 seconds
Yeah.
or less,
Yeah.
but just to see him giggle
Yeah.
about the outcome of the photo, I'm like, I'm good now.
Yeah, no, I mean, but those little moments is what make those things worth it. So if you're able to turn your 5 second, 8 second, 10 second opportunity
Yeah.
into something that's memorable for at least you, then that's,
Yeah.
good. I'm not sitting here saying don't do it. It's not worth your time. Absolutely follow your passions and take pictures with whoever you want to take a picture with.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get it though. You're especially with somebody that you really like an Andrew Robinson, where you just like, if I
Mhm.
can only ask you just 2 questions about your time on Deep Space Nine.
I mean, I seriously, I would pay a decent amount of money to see Alexander Siddig and Andrew Robinson. Oh my God, I can't believe we
Okay.
just said his name and I forgot it. But to see them have lunch one more time, I would love that.
Yeah.
I would pay theater ticket price, down front, for 2 hours
Just
or
two
whatever.
dudes sitting around the Replomat.
Yeah,
No scene changes. Just talking about the greater
yes,
literary achievements of
yeah,
whoever.
of Cardassian artists versus Terran artists.
Oh my gosh! Well, that's a good time. I don't know. Maybe we could just dream about that. We'll write a hollow program. By the time
Maybe.
the room you're sitting in is invented, maybe we'll be done. Um, I don't know. Writing takes a long time. As does talking about Star Trek, and I think we've gotten to the end of it. Yeah.
For now.
Yeah, for now. For now. I mean, of course. I mean, this show's been on for 70 years. There's plenty to talk about.
Yes, there is.
And I guess we covered the first episode of Picard. So next time we'll just bring you the second one. But that's cool. It's cool. I'm totally happy with it. So that's it. So on the other program, I've got like a really practice closeout. Don't really have one for Deck 10 yet. So in the other podcast, I tell everybody to get back into the cars, turn their radios to previous episodes of 10th Floor Podcast, which you can find on all your podcasting platforms. If you can't find it, reach out to me on Twitter at 10th Floor GH, and I'll tell you where to find it or add it to the podcasting platform you're looking at. In the meantime, go spend some time with your families. I've been Matt. That's been Kat. We'll catch you next time right here on the 10th floor. I can't say
That
that for
all
deck 10.
works. Maybe just some syllable changes.
Yeah, well, folks, get into your shuttle. Go
There you
on
go.
home. Turn your communication devices to YouTube to watch previous episodes of Deck 10. In the meantime, go spend some time with your Hollow family. Make sure they don't play Parisi Squares. I've been Matt. That's Matt too. You'll get used to it. I already have. We'll catch you next time here in Deck 10. I don't know what day it's going to come out, but it will. Bye.